What's going on, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. This is the first live I'm impromptu doing on purpose. I'm still working out the kinks. I have a whole bunch of technology in the studio I never use, and I had a little bit of time. I have a meeting in about an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm trying to kill some time in between meetings. And I figured I'd come on here and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I do have some announcement things that I could cover as well. Oh, shoot. Okay, no, this is good. And I'm trying to give some time for some people to get in here. I will be going back to Kenya early July. I'm not really sure. Still waiting to get the confirmation on when this property is going to be done. I'm super excited to get out there, and I'm basically getting my second home or first home set up. It's an apartment, Kilimani. So very excited about doing that. I actually have a whole bunch of videos I want to react to, but also I'm in a weird space because I'm like living two lives. I live this U.S. life where I own this real estate brokerage. We're developing this company. We're building this up. We help people buy and sell homes in New Jersey. I still do some real estate investments. We have like a big project that we're looking to close on and do way more than I was thinking about even doing. I've been trying to somewhat get out of the real estate investment business because I think the phase and the cycle is not beneficial right now. And part of that is how I started allocating funds to Kenya on the investment and personal side. And I kind of wanted to talk through that as far as um, I've been in real estate for 15 years. I bought my first property in 2010. But if you guys, it's funny now, I'm kind of old, I guess. The history of the real estate is kind of crazy because usually all these things have different business cycles. And this is probably one of the longest positive business cycles for real estate in the United States. And so I got started in 2010. And if you guys remember the real estate bubble, the crash, the great recession of 28, the real estate business didn't start rebounding till 2010. And so prices were down. There was a lot of opportunity. If you had money, I was still in the military at the time, and that's how I got started. And if you look at the median home price at that time was about, oh man, it's a 200,000 and now it's 450,000. So really, if you just bought anything and owned it for long enough and didn't crash out and mess it up, you probably did well. And so I'm thinking about my real estate career and kind of how things are going where it's very slow. And I actually saw a podcast on the Iced Coffee Hour where this guy, a big investor, was talking about his net worth has not increased over the last couple of years. And I thought that was interesting because I feel the same. It's very stagnant here. I think I'm looking around and I see risk everywhere. And I didn't feel that way before about the US real estate market. I used to just kind of start during COVID. I was like, oh man, the Northeast, all these states that are locked down are kind of messing up, and everyone's going south, Florida, Texas, Georgia. Now it's starting to be the Carolinas, Arizona. I think Tennessee is interesting. But in general, the market has been super, super, super stagnant, and it's been very hard to make money. I mean, like you can make money, but the margins are a lot more difficult. And then on the real estate sales side, it's hard. I think a lot of buyers are priced out. The affordability is really challenging. But I started my investment and real estate career. I started buying stocks in 2006 and 7, and I was like 18, 19 years old. Just got out of basic training. The first thing I did was try to buy some stocks. I went to the library, got on the computer, started trying to buy stocks, started investing. And that was before the crash. And I had stuff that actually went to zero, but I only had hundreds of dollars that I lost during the first crash during 2008. And so I saw what happened to people when everything crashed. And then, I go through the military, I end up living in Germany, I get deployed to Iraq. Basically saved a ton of money. And so when I got to Fort Hood, Texas, which they changed the name to something weird right now, but I got to Fort Hood, Texas, the first thing I did was buy a 4 unit multifamily property at like, I think I was 21, 22 years old at the time. That's in 2010. My whole life, I was just waiting to be able to buy property. And it was the perfect time to buy property in the real estate cycle. And so I actually just sold that property, made a bunch of money. Plus, I've been collecting rent from what that's 15 years, right? So that's how I got started in real estate. And now I just look around, I just see risk everywhere. And I learned the lesson. The thing is, I'm paying, like, I've been watching some Dave Ramsey. I see a lot of these real estate guys from before 2008 who went bust and lost their money. And really, they didn't even make big mistakes, a lot of them, other than having too much debt, or um, they they really didn't do anything wrong. Their loans got called due because of the crash and the type of loans that they had, and they couldn't come up with the money to pay it. They lost everything, even though on paper they had money. Rello, what's up, man? What's going on? Actually, I'll drop the link in a little bit. I do want to get some of my thoughts off. But check out Rello's page. It's what, Scott Ensley? Who I've been on a couple of his lives. It's been real fun. So check that out. And I probably, I keep it more business professional on my channel. So if you want to see me being a little bit more loose, check him out because it's super fun. Well, what's up, man? On this live, if you guys want to chime in, ask me questions, I'm really just here to share my thoughts at this current point. I wanted to kind of get more back into the content and start sharing things because a lot of people have been asking where I'm at, and I'm gonna. This goes into my whole theme, so I'm gonna keep going with that. But it all relates to everything. Everything's relating because it has to do with business cycles and making decisions. So, you know, killing the real estate, like, you didn't have to be smart to do well in real estate from 2010 to 2022, probably. So if you bought something, you did well. And that's when I was going heavy in real estate sales, and really was doing well on the sales side and the investment side. And so the world is different right now. And that's what me personally have been struggling to deal with. And that's how the Kenyan investing kind of got more serious after my first visit started getting bigger. And so I I have a lot of consultations with people, with home buyers that feel like they're missing out, that they're not owning homes, they're not able to, they're rushing, they want to buy a house real bad, and now I'm worried that they're running into the slaughterhouse, basically. Look, owning property is good overall. Like, if you look at the charts of prices, they go up over the history of time. But trying to buy something you can't afford is dangerous. And so I've been starting to I used to tell people, you're a dummy if you're not buying a house. Renting, you're burning money, you're setting money on fire. And now I don't believe that. And so that's kind of how I started looking elsewhere. I started looking because I'm in New Jersey. I started looking in the South. I wanted to buy like condos in Florida. I kind of wanted to spend the winter in Florida, and then that transferred into looking at Ghana, and then ended up being in Kenya. And there's this whole bunch, there's more than just business reasons why I ended up out there. But the business cycle had a lot to do with it. And I just think that if you're a first time home buyer, you should be very careful about rushing out and buying a house. I don't think now is the time. But also, I think the business on the investment side is very stagnant. And why the heck would you go all the way to a whole foreign different country to purchase and rent out real estate or do anything in real estate or any kind of business in a foreign country that you don't know about. But that's because I think the cycle right now, all the upside is kind of gone. And if you know business cycles, they don't go up forever. But real estate has been going up consistently since 2010. And so that's 15 years now. In the long run, do I think real estate is good to have in the US? Yes. But I think you have to start being a bit careful and look elsewhere. And like, it's very concerning what I'm seeing. And I think that you can easily be tricked into. I get worried about the new people getting into real estate because after a trend is built and you see all these people make money and then you get in and then the conditions change and then you lose because you just got in late. I get worried about that. That happens with Bitcoin. That happens with the GameStop stock and Dogecoin and all that stuff. People are chasing all this stuff, and you could really get hurt trying to do that. Now, for me, the game is so different that I'm starting to look at other options, and so that's how I ended up. I mean, I wanted to go to Africa in the first place, okay, but I ended up going to Kenya and then buying my first property, and now I have three properties under contract, and I'm getting the other one in July. So that's because I'm trying to escape the cycle. Because again, a lot of these guys, you could be making money and doing everything right, and when a bad situation happens in the economy, you could lose everything. And I feel like I have researched and read and paid attention to all these guys who did lose in the last crash. When they were doing good, it didn't look like they would ever lose or they were just going to keep going up. And that is how you crash out, because then you go bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the balloon pops and you lose everything because you put everything into the next thing. And I think you have to be super careful right now. And so I'm kind of diversifying. And and this is the thing that I think is like, if you're good enough, doesn't matter. Should you just go harder, be smarter, be better, and stay in it? Or wait for the conditions to change? Because if you're doing musical chairs and you don't have a chair to sit, I'm really worried about that. And especially once you get to a point where you start having money and you have resources and you've worked your whole life to have them, it would suck to crash out and lose it all. Okay, so that is the catalyst to the investment side of why I've been looking elsewhere. And I'm not saying you got to look at Kenya. I'm not saying, whatever. I'm not really telling you what to do, but I'm just sharing my perspective on what I've been seeing and why I'm making the moves that I am making. I don't have a crystal ball. Maybe the market keeps doing great for the next 10 years. But as long as you don't take too much risk, I think it's okay. So that's where I'm at on the business cycle, real estate in the U.S., and kind of why especially, here's the thing. Also, the affordability is so bad right now that even if you do everything right, you go to college, you don't spend your money, you save, you're responsible. I think it's still hard to get into the game. And I think that's the most attractive aspect for a younger person or somebody that is investment minded but looks at the prices in the US, especially if you're in New York, California, now South Florida, certain parts of Texas like Austin. I think you got to look at different markets. I mean, the conditions, you can't change them. Just like here at the real estate brokerage, we're at like a 40-year low for transactions in general. Okay. So this idea that you're going to light the world on fire um, in a difficult economic climate is quite challenging. So I think you got to respect the conditions at which you are dealing with the market or whatever business that you're in. Let me drop the link in here now because that was pretty much my spiel about that. Um, I'm gonna start. What do we call it? Reacting to some videos. I got like three videos. Interesting. One of them is a reaction to a reaction of me of one of my videos that actually got taken down for privacy. Very annoying. YouTube is doesn't help you at all. It's trash. One of my best performing videos. Um, I'll also be reacting to one of my favorite content creators about Kenya. I think they're so reasonable and just chill and honest because there's a lot of like, you know, it's the nature of social media and YouTube and all that stuff to make things bigger than it is. But one of my favorites. And also, I just pushed the go button on memberships because what's happening is I'm getting a lot of. I've been doing consultations for free because I have a passion for helping people, and I really just want to show. I like to show what I'm doing. That I get a thrill from doing that. And then the next step seems to be like helping people, and I love helping and coaching people, and at least passing on the information that I have. I think that's really important as a community to share what you know. I mean, why wouldn't I tell you what I know? I try not to position myself as an expert. I only have one property in Kenya, so I'm not trying to tell people I'm some real estate investing expert in the Kenyan market as an American. Karibu, hey Ryan, wish I could have got to meet you when I first came to Kenya earlier this year. All the best. Yeah, I saw you in South Africa. What's going on? Um, yeah, I'll be back in July. I don't know where you're going to be at, but yeah, it would have been great to connect. Um, I love the content I've been watching. South Africa, yeah, that's the thing. What's up with the crime over there? Because I kind of want to go, but the crime, I'm good. Like, I don't want no problems. Because in Kenya, I don't have them vibes like something bad's gonna. I mean, I feel it as an American just based on like I can feel people looking at me. I'm light skinned. I stand out over there, but I don't feel like any. I know the energy is a little bit different, but South Africa, I don't know, man. But I really do. I'll end up getting out there, but I am curious what your perspective is on the crime and how you felt out there because it is an attractive. I want to go to Cape Town just because I like the beach. But what's the other place? There's another beach town. Oh my, Durban. Durban's on the water too, I believe. I want to check those places out. But we'll get there. And the cool thing. This is so back to the business cycle thing is I'm starting to think I kind of want to do international real estate and more YouTube stuff where because I have 15 years of real estate sales and investment background, so I'm specifically positioned to be able to provide more educated information about this stuff, even if I don't know those markets. The way I interpret it or can showcase things that are important to me might be beneficial for someone looking out there, and I can at least introduce someone to a market. So, it'd be really cool. I know on this trip when we go in July, I think Kai is coming out. I think he's already booked his flight. I haven't booked my flight yet, but we have some tentative plans on going to the coast. So we want to check out at least Mombasa real estate, but I'd like to see everything on the coast. But there's some travel stuff with that, and depending on time, Watamu and Diani and Malindi, because there's some land selling companies out there. I know they built a solar farm like 30 minutes from the coast in Malindi. I've talked to some people that stayed out in Malindi as Kenyans that stay out there and have moved out there, and I think that's an interesting market. Definitely a secondary, third, tertiary type market. But again, this is the type of content that I would like to do. So, if you're, maybe you're like a couple guys out of college or something, and the U.S. market is too expensive. Hey, we all get 5, 10K together and buy something in Malindi and be able to rent it out, do an Airbnb, do some kind of resort thing, destination. There's all kinds of opportunities, is what I'm saying. And I want to expose people to the opportunities. So that speaks to, again, the membership. I just pressed the go button on it. The first one is just basically supporting because you appreciate what I'm doing. Guys, I'm like financially good, so don't give your last dollar or whatever. But at the same time, it is really cool to just get recognized and people that appreciate, and the people that are in the membership are going to be prioritized in comments and questions and all that stuff. And there's two levels. So the first one is just the $5 level. Basically, is just support, right? It's just saying, yo, I like what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. Maybe I'm getting value from this. Maybe I might go and invest. And I try to, I don't want to paywall information too much. But at the same time, what's been happening is I've been getting a lot of, and I see the comments, Jesse, I'm going to get to it in a second, um, like entitlement to my time. And, because I do free consultations and I don't have all the systems set up for the consultations like that. But so many people, I know it would help people, especially, I think there's like 30, 40 people that have come out and looked at real estate, that have watched this content and has either told Dennis or myself that they're looking to buy and have been actively looking. Because I guess this type of content is finding the right people because a high percentage of you guys are actually like executing on some of this stuff, or at least using the information, even if you're just staying. Not, it doesn't have to be on the investment side. So what's happening though is that like this lady is like in there talking about you never emailed me back. Well, first of all, I'm running this business, and look, I'm not making excuses, but at the same time, like I'm doing this to like be helpful. So like, give me a break a little bit, right? And so she's like, "Oh, you didn't respond, and no one's responding." And I'm like, "I might have missed your email. Like I will. Like I think most people I've been able to set up a time and consult with. We've done quite a few of them, and a lot of guys have touched down in Kenya since we've spoken. And I always tell people, here's my WhatsApp number. Ask me a question. Um, and I'll share whatever information. I've shared my offer letters, I've shared my contracts, and I said, hey, send me your contract or whatever information that you're getting. And I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I can at least say, oh, that is similar to what I have in my purchase, and here's what happened when I did my purchase, or here's what's been going on with me. A big thing is how to send money, because that's very nerve wracking. And again, there's a bunch of ideas there, and I don't want to I don't want to digress too much, but this goes to the opportunity, like an escrow company that manages the payments and makes sure that the payment gets to the escrow company and then the developer, because it's a bit hazardous right now. There's all kinds of things that could be done, that I'm really seriously considering leaning into. But anyway, back to my point is that the higher membership is $25. It's going to get you the consultation, but it also gets you access to me to be able to ask questions. I'll give you my WhatsApp number. You can just send me questions, messages, whatever, and I'll be able to answer them. And it's really not like, the thing is, it's getting a little annoying for people that think that they're entitled to your time and they're not even like giving you anything. So for me, it's symbolic. Do I need $25 from the membership? No, not really. But like, y'all are kind of pissing me off with that. So I just, just if you're a good person, it's cool. Well, and a lot of you guys I've already spoken to, and I'm always going to help. But it's kind of a way to reciprocate in some way, because sometimes, like, I don't work for you. You know what I mean? Especially you're not paying nothing. So that's where I'm coming from with that. So if you guys want to support, you could do the $5, then you get the priority messaging in here. Obviously, I've just started doing lives. There's not a lot of people, so I get that the incentive may or may not be there. But if you want to get entitled to some of my time, you got to be on the $25 membership, okay? Everybody I've already talked to, and if I can get to you, I will still respond. I'm not going to be bougie or anything like that. But, a little bit of, you know, it's for my mental health, a little appreciation, because I'm telling you, like, why are you beating me up? First of all, I'm in 10 places at one time, and now you're complaining, and you're the lady was in the comments trying to trash me because I didn't respond. This ain't McDonald's. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just annoying. I was like, you know what? And when, because hopefully this grows and we'll be doing members only lives and we'll really, I'll be able to answer questions for that group of people who are really serious about what's going on, especially on the real estate side. Because look, it can help you make money or at least help you avoid losing a lot of money. So, some reciprocation is appreciated. All right, now let's get to the comments. Jesse Whitehorn, the problem is C with people I know on multi units. They believe in $200 a door profit. I never believe in that. I waited for the right building that allowed me to be in the 50% occupied to make the note. Super. This is my thing about the business cycle. If you did that in 2010 where your margin was small, by time and inflation, that deal would become good. But if you do that today and there's any problems or negatives that happen in the market, if because I'm in New Jersey, it takes forever to evict somebody. It costs a lot. You'll never recoup your money. That could take you out if you don't have a lot of reserves. Like I always get worried about the entry level people. I'm not really worried about the more sophisticated people because they're going to be all right. But I always advocate for not just the younger people, I would say like younger financially, where they're just getting started on investing, and I get really worried about that. And I never want to be the person be like, yo, buy this, do that, and then they can't repair the roof because they didn't have enough reserves. And so when you buy a property and you're not making enough, and this is the problem, is that the $200 a door is not too bad right now. That's about typical unless you can find a really good deal. So I think people need to be really careful about what they're buying because everything looks good on paper as you do it under these conditions. But if the conditions change, you could get wiped out. And there's things that can happen that you're not thinking about that can happen. And here's the other thing: when you have once you have start having money, losing money on an investment is real bad because you've worked so hard for the money and it just evaporates, and then you lose the opportunity to make money from the bad investment when you could have made better investments because they're mutually exclusive. Like you can only buy one property, so you got to buy the right one. It gets a little risky, man. The plaid unicorn. I'll be in Nairobi then this month, looking to spend a few days on the coast. Have you been to the coast? I the coast is cool, but for like 3 days for me. I don't get. I love the beach. I'm like a beach person. Maybe I needed I didn't like the place I stayed at, and maybe I only stayed in Mombasa and Nairi. I think that's Niali. That's how you say it. And so I have to go back and do a redo. But I hear and a lot of Kenyans told me I'm not going to like Mombasa. They kept steering me. They were like, Mombasa's cool, but you should go to Diani or Watamu. So that's what I was getting from them. Jane, escrow is the best idea I have heard. You partner with a bank real estate firms. Yeah, so I would just model the escrow company after like a title company slash attorney concept here in the United States so that expats could have a more reliable way to send funds. Because right now you wire money. Very scary. Every time I go to Chase and I want to I had to wire the maximum amount Chase let you wire, which was like 40 or $50,000. They make you sign 8 things saying that if the money's gone once you wire it, and then it's in Africa, so that they're extra looking at you crazy, and it's very nerve wracking. And then it takes a while for the developer to get it, and then you hope that they don't play crazy and act like they didn't get it, or because they'll write you a receipt. It's like a picture of a handwritten receipt. It's very disconcerting. And so, look, I'm giving business ideas out here. Um, an escrow company in Kenya or international or something that will release the funds um, on the draw schedule. Because when you're buying these properties, you're making quarterly payments generally. So every quarter you're sending a certain amount until the property's completed. It's scary every time. I have a Kenyan bank account, so but even me, I still have to wire the money because I'm not on the ground. Because what I would do is send myself the money, wire it to my Kenyan bank account, and then I would get a cashier's check from the Kenyan bank account and bring it, hand deliver it to the developer. Because the first purchase I did, one of our payments got impounded, I guess, by the government or got flagged, and it was in this purgatory for months. And so I was like, are they scamming? Well, like, what the heck is going on? So it's very scary. They ended up, Dennis and Sadia ended up working it out and getting it resolved, but very scary, very scary. And I think that there's, see, this thing, this is why going, if you have a skill set in the United States, you can go somewhere, and not to say that we're better or anything, but certain things do work in a better way. And so you can fill the gaps for that. And business is about solving a problem. So that's a problem and it can be solved. And so if you have the skill set to solve that problem, now you do have to learn the Kenyan legal side of everything. And that's why you probably have to partner and find the right partners. And that's why I want to jump into doing any business, because you have to know you don't know what you don't know. So you're really going to have to learn how business is done, but also culturally, like how to interact with people. There's a lot into doing business beyond the business aspect. And so I'd really, when I go out there, maybe you guys get the sense, I'm really trying to learn the culture. I have Duolingo, I'm learning Swahili. People are always trying to teach me. I'm always trying to use different words. And it's not just the language, it's the culture and how people interact that's important to do business. Just like here, like the better you are with people, the better you're going to do at business in general. Yes, it's finding the right people. For example, you have free consults. I gave a Black American when I first came to Kenya $300 for a consult. I so could have gave that to you instead. Yeah, I see. Paying. I always want people to get the like, and especially on content world now, and especially the foreign like expats that are in different countries. You know, what were they doing in the States that qualifies you to charge someone to consult on something, which there are things that they can consult on, I think. But, I- I don't think things are scams unless they just outright take your money. But are you getting the value that you should be getting for what you're doing? And that's where, I'm a business person, okay? So I use my name on here as my real name, okay? Integrity is really important. Even across the world on the internet, whatever you do, your name can help you make money or it can definitely make you lose money. So I get real squirrely about taking money because are you getting $300 worth of value? Plus, it don't hurt me to give information. So that's where it's a little challenging for me. But it's really the fact that it's like the appreciation, because I feel like sometimes people feel entitled to your time. And it's like, dude, like, I don't need you to like praise me like that, but I am helping you. So don't act like I owe you something. That's the whole thing, my issue. Ferdy, what key factors do you consider most important when evaluating a project that is being marketed or sold before construction begins? I can't stress it enough. The developers' past projects. That is the number one thing. You need to look at everything that they've built in the past. And I'm not, I mean, if they've done 10 projects, not everything, but you need to look at something that was like 7, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, because past performance is the best indication of future performance. So if you see that they were making progress, obviously styles and things change with like decor inside, but like is the parking lot or the garage falling apart? Are the lines still there? Is everything worn off? Is the concrete like chipping on the exterior? I stayed in a place on Gong Road and it was brand new. And I was looking at the concrete like, yo, this is chipping off already. Like, what's going on over here? I think that's the most important thing. How are these properties maintained? And this is probably something I'll get more into on members, because this is way a deeper cut. But those apartment developments, first of all, you'd be so surprised that Kenyan real estate contracts and things work very much like in the US. For example, a 6% commission is very standard. And they have a buyer agency commission. That's usually half of that, at 3%. And so the way that they do things are quite a bit similar. The same, so when the developer completes the development, they have 6 months where they are the management or the HOA, condo association, whatever, however you want to call it there. And then you can form, the owners can form their own because your sectional title, you have shares in that apartment, basically. And look, some of this stuff, I don't have the exact right wording. I'm just kind of sharing what I know from my first owner experience and everyone I'm talking to. I'm going to interview some lawyers and accountants. I'm going to get real reliable tax information. I'm going to get real reliable legal information about the leasehold, freehold, all that stuff. We're going to do that. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But basically, within 6 months, you can either the developer can still manage the property with their management company, or you can form your own. It's just like any other condo association. They would call it a service charge. We call it a HOA fee. But you basically pay into this pool, and there's people that manage the building. If the elevator breaks, they use the service charge or the HOA funds to fix it. They make up the rules, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I said all that to say you can ask about that kind of stuff um, when you're looking at past projects, and that'll be an indication of how well they maintain the property, how well they hold up. And this is why working with a real estate agent out there is really important, because if you're working with the sales agents of the developers, they're really good people. Like, some of them are real cool. I'm kind of friends with some of them, or acquaintance, like, cool. And but I mean, they work there, and they're not going to drive you around and show you all the other projects. But Dennis, we were like, yo, Dennis, look, can we see what Wonder Properties has done in the past? Because we're looking at the Diplomat project. Well, we went back and looked at all their stuff, and most of their projects look the same, and they have a similar layout, and even their amenities are the same. So when you go into the gym, you see what type of equipment they're putting in the gym. And then if the gym's 5 years old, you can see how well they've maintained the gym. So that's kind of how it's going. Oh man. Oh, Rello's in here. Let's see what he's talking about. Let me add him. Let me figure out how to do this properly. Yo.
What up,
What
Ron?
up,
It's your
Ron? It's
boy
your
Jay
boy Jay
Rello.
Rello.
You gotta say
Gotta say
hello.
hello.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Sound like you
Sound
got
like
a
you got a
little bit
little
of
bit of
feedback.
feedback.
It's an
Oh, I
echo.
got feedback.
It's an
Oh.
echo.
Echo.
Uh-oh.
Do you
I'm
know how
gonna
to
You know how
take
to
the
take
echo
the echo
off?
off?
Oh, yeah. I turned that setting off because I thought I was doing something. Let me see. Audio. Okay, I turned it off. Is that better?
Okay. Testing. All right, we good now.
Oh, nice. Okay, I do need it.
Okay. What's
What's
up, my guy?
what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. This Nairobi stuff got me excited as hell.
Yeah, yeah, man. I'm excited. Well, we'll be there around the same time.
We are?
I'll be there July around the 10th, maybe.
Oh, wow. So you, damn.
I haven't booked it yet though, but I'll be around there at the same time. But I'm not as fun as you, so we'll see.
Man, it don't matter if you're in the fun as me, long as we're out there and we're just doing our thing, right, man?
Yeah.
Bro, it's gonna be so much fun. You hear me, Jay?
I'm my first two trips. I had a lot of fun, so now I'll be more like chilling. But we'll see. I do want to check out Milan again.
Yeah, we can hit the club and stuff. I kind of, I want to go to the little polo events and stuff on the Sundays too. I heard those are like pretty lit. So
The
we'll
best
definitely,
experience
yeah.
for sure.
Okay, yeah,
Did you
yeah. So
book
you,
it?
huh?
Did you book it last night? I fell asleep on your
Yeah,
live.
I booked the Airbnb. I ain't get the flight yet. I'm gonna book the flight in about 2 weeks. Next Friday, not this Friday. Next Friday,
Oh,
we're gonna have a little fundy, put it together. It's about $1,600 flight. So we got 3 weeks in Nairobi with your boy. It's gonna be a
do you consider
movie.
yourself a passport bro?
No, no, no. I'm a travel vlogger.
That was like a way of saying yes.
No, no, I'm not a passport, bro. I don't.
What differentiates you from the passport bros?
Because, I mean, they have totally different principles and morals that they abide by. I don't basically, I don't have the same belief in their narrative and their talking points and their main reason why they're passport bros. You get what I'm saying? So,
Oh, okay.
um, you know, the whole is going back to other countries to find better quality women. Like, I don't agree with that because I really think it's enough incredible women we have right here in the United States of America. So um, I just never considered myself one. I got looped up into it when I went viral because that's a catch-all term that the media likes to propagate for any black man that travels overseas for any reason. So long story short, I got grouped up with some people I don't really agree with. Long story short, you know what I'm saying?
I got some reaction videos to some Kenyans complaining about the passport bros.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I got them primed up for later. Well, we'll see if we get to them because I got a meeting 4:30, so I got like an hour.
Okay. All
We'll,
right.
yeah, man. I'm looking forward to getting out there.
It's gonna be a third time, so you ain't as excited as your first time because obviously you already been twice, right? So
For me, it's more like a relief because I'll be here stressed out. All I do is work. All I do here is work. I don't do nothing fun. I ain't been out. When I go to Kenya, that's when I can relax.
you can hit the
Although
club. So
now I'll be doing work out there. I'm gonna end up doing the same thing, but it'll be more fun.
it'll be more fun for sure, for sure. So I mean, what you were already planning on going before we even met, though, right? Basically.
Yeah, so I'm buying I'm closing on a property, so I gotta like get furniture and all that stuff when I get out there. So that's why I'm not super excited because well, it'll be fun to furniture shop, but you know, I'm looking. I don't know what the budget looks like, but I want to get a truck. Like I've been looking at an F-150 Raptor because the Uber gets old waiting on Uber. Like you got to wait on somebody to come, and then if you're out at certain places, the Ubers don't come out the same frequency. So I like to be able to get in and get out sometimes. Plus, I need a truck for safety because the driving out there is dangerous.
See, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would actually be worth it to like rent a car because I
No,
don't
no, no,
know.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You
So
would,
I would
you,
just be Uber and every, but it's cheap to Uber though. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah. The cost is not a problem because I saw that some of those booking places will take you from the airport. That's not a problem. The problem is just sometimes they see my picture on the Uber, they want to call me, and then they want to like ask if you're using a card, where you're going, and then they might cancel. When they hear you speaking English too well, they will deal with you differently. So it gets annoying after a while. But I think you'll be fine. Like just don't worry about it. But don't let them call you. Don't talk to them. Like just make them show up because they'll be trying to call you.
that sounds like a one-off incident. That don't sound
No, it
like
happens
that's.
all the time. It happens all the time. Like it's annoying. Like now I have like the person that I'm with do the Uber because if I order it is I'll say 15% of the time annoying.
Okay, so I know a little bit about you. So you haven't been really anywhere else except
Yeah,
Nairobi,
I've been everywhere.
basically.
No, I've been to. I went to Lake Nakuru. I've been to the national park. I've been to Naivasha a little bit. I went to the coast. I was in Mombasa. I was outside.
Right, but I'm saying like outside of Africa, though.
Oh, I lived in Germany. I've been to Amsterdam, Paris, Rome, Jamaica, Mexico,
So, I
Iraq,
mean,
Qatar.
so I mean, out of all those places, you're saying you really love Nairobi, Kenya, like the most out of
Yeah.
everywhere you've been, basically.
And more, because you think the nostalgia wears off, but uh, every time I go, I don't want to come back. I'm basically, I'm just restructuring my life to be out there.
So you just working just to have more time in Nairobi, basically.
I I'm scaling my business here so that I can keep the business, but I can work remotely. Right now I got to be here for certain things.
Okay.
But that's why I work so hard when I'm here, cuz I'm trying to get the heck out of here. Really.
I mean, I
That's
know you.
like I know what I like, so I know, I don't think anyone where anywhere else could compete. That's funny because we got someone here that's was in South Africa. I think she's still over there. I am curious about South Africa, but the whole apartheid thing, and I'm good on that. Like it's like the U.S.
I'm hoping that I love Nairobi, but I'm kind of in this spot where it's like I do want to go to Joburg, like while I'm there, just to see. But it's kind of like one of those situations where it's like I honestly think I'm gonna love Nairobi so much I'm not really gonna have the desire to even go any, because I just got 3 weeks. 3 weeks when you having fun could go by so fast.
Yeah,
So I have going to Joburg on the drawing board, but it's only gonna be if it's like, you know, like every like just like if I get to Nairobi and I'm just like I just love everything about this place. You get what I'm saying? Like it has to be like no part of me has any interest in going to anywhere else because one is gonna cost some bread, but not too much. But I'm just in this situation where it's like I do want to hit Joburg, but it's only if Nairobi didn't live up to my expectations as far as how fire it is, if that makes sense. You get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I can't put a finger on exactly what your expectation. I feel like you're always going to be inclined to look around, but for me, Nairobi got too much. Like I'm like, damn, I can't. Last time I went, I didn't even go to the club because it would have messed up the rest of my. I'd be tired for like 3 days because it don't close till you know till 5 a.m. or whatever.
Okay.
But you seem more like a fun guy. That
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm like the guy that like stays out all night partying. I
yeah,
got
I can't.
girls over. It's kind of like the way my life is set up. It's like tailor made for just the entertainment of people.
Hmm.
Because I'm not like a lazy guy. Like you'll call me and I'll be like outside doing some stuff that's like I just like to be doing stuff. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm a doer instead of a don't doer, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I'll be chilling. I'll be inside.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like our personalities might be, like actually complement each other because like you're more like laid back, want to chill, probably stay inside on a Friday night, and I'm more like go out, let's turn up. Where's the hoes? Let's drink something. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like all rah rah rah. So I think opposites can kind of complement each other a lot because you kind of got. I could tell like you was just so super laid back, more just go with the flow type swag. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I'll pop out and then I probably won't last the whole night, but I'll bring some energy while I'm there, and then I'll be like,
So you're good for like 3 hours and then you're
yeah,
you're
that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Get them out of there. So, but the women thing, I can't have. That's too much. It gets hectic. Obviously, the first time I was there was, a kid in a candy store, but it gets old. I feel like it's the same, the same thing over and over.
Okay, so like, How long are you staying this time? That way, you don't know,
At
or
least a month.
mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for two. If I could get some things set up here real nice, maybe the full three. I don't know. Probably going to be 6 weeks. Is probably what it is. They said you're ready to turn up.
No, it's kind of like, I have an obligation to my subscribers that
Yeah.
donated for me to go to just show them the best time possible. So it's just no way I'm gonna be able to, have a trip and just spend most of the time just in the house laying down on the couch. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's gonna be a lot of like
Well,
outside. I want to venture out into like some of the like areas like the country areas of shit too. Just to go explore. As long as I'm
okay, yeah,
doing something is better than doing nothing most of the time. You get
right.
what I'm saying?
You're
Like,
gonna hit up. You're gonna go to some villages.
yeah, for sure. Oh, for
Okay.
sure.
You're
I
gonna
just
need like somebody that knows.
Yeah, I got connects in ground
Okay.
basically. So I'm not
Yeah,
just
but you need
going
a
to
Kenyan. You need like a nice young lady that knows a village to show you around.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. I'm gonna have a lot of connects in town before I land. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you get me? Like, I got connects like in the mainland of Nairobi, and then I'm gonna have like people to take me out, like where they're killing chickens and eating them for breakfast type shit. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you. Yeah. It's funny. I'm weird like that. Like I was in Nairobi one time. I think it was on the main road in Kilimani. It's called Arguings Kovac, and there was a guy walking around with a chicken. I'm like so fascinated. Like, what are you doing with the chicken? Like, why? What's
Was it
happening?
alive or?
Oh yeah, live chicken. And
Oh.
like on road, you'll see the Maasai people like walking with the cattle, and they'll be eating the grass. That's like they'll cut the grass like that. I think the lady told me that they have an agreement with Nairobi or what the Maasai people because they were from there that they're allowed to do that. Because I know in the city, because when you're out in the country, you see goats and stuff all over the place. So I don't know.
Okay, I saw you on my live last night, and I saw you had basically were like talking about like the places I was looking at. I end
The
up
one
booking
was a
this.
scam.
Which one?
The one that was like 300 on Ola Tuk Tuk Road in
That was a
Killidish
scam? How do you know that was a scam?
because of the price. Ain't no way it's $300 for 20 days.
Right, but how would they scam me if they didn't ask for the money before I get there though? That's
They
the
were going to try to figure out how to run the play after because we might be a little bit street smart, but I feel like some Europeans show up and they don't know what's going on, and I don't know what they do. So,
I booked that spot.
oh, okay. Well, I mean, obviously, you're not going to give them money until you get there, right? So, I think you'll be good. But I think there's
So
going
what
to.
if it's not a scam? You're gonna be pleasantly surprised if it's not a scam, Ryan. That's what
I
you're
would
saying.
be, but just everything tells me that
It looked it too good to be true for that area of
for
town,
20
or
days in Kilauea, how many bedrooms was it?
it was a one bedroom, but it looked like Donald Trump's house though.
It should be like 800. All the new stuff looks really good though, like that. Like that's a normal, like new apartment.
It was $14 a night, basically.
I don't know the nightly rate, but like Kilimani, Kilauea, you're probably $1,000 a month on Airbnb.
No, it wasn't on Airbnb. It was on
No,
Booking.
no, I know, but that's why I think it's also Booking has less like,
Validated, basically.
yeah. Yo, shout
Well,
out
I
Plaid
mean,
Unicorn, first member. Super appreciate you. Thank you so much.
I really just booked it to satisfy my visa requirements. Other than
Yeah,
that,
I
I
know.
don't really.
No, I know you might end up canceling it or doing whatever, so it's fine.
Yeah. So I
But yeah,
mean, they have
but
a
the
they
one in
have a
Muthaiga, the one that you showed in Muthaiga with the pool and the compounds and all that,
yeah.
that's probably legit. That's near Village Market.
Yeah, but it was $200 a night to
Yeah,
stay
yeah.
there.
But
That,
even that, like for what you get is reasonable.
yeah, that was fire for what you
Yeah.
get. You know,
But the
that's
overall
out of my
price.
tax bracket.
Right.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's nice.
yeah,
That's what I'm
that was
saying. In Kenya,
dumb.
like you get the value, even if you're paying more, it's worth more. Like, you're getting the value back. So when you go out, wherever you go out, I feel like you're gonna be like, dang, that was worth it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like even if you're at the club buying bottles and doing all that stuff, like you'll be like, that was worth it.
right. Exactly. You get your money's worth, basically.
Here you go out. If I go to the local spot, will be like $1,000.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, I could have stayed home for this.
So you saw both spots. So I mean, by that logic, both of those spots that I looked at were probably scams. Then, if because you saw the other spot I looked at, the twin homes shit, it was 14 too. It was a 2 bedroom apart
Yeah,
house.
the too bad. Yeah, that didn't make sense either.
I don't see the scam
And
because
whatever that other Zuro guy, he was giving you some bad information, bro.
yeah, I
He
saw
said,
you
oh,
put that. What was he saying specifically
I
that you
can't
were?
remember something about, oh, they won't check the visa thing.
Oh yeah, the dates when I was saying
Oh, and
lined
then
up.
he told you to fly into Rwanda and then bus across the border.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I wasn't doing that.
that ain't it. Plausible Thing says the Maasai are the original owners of Nairobi. It's their indigenous land, and they have been cattle herders for centuries. So they feed their cattle on the road reserves, empty land. No one bothers. Yep, that's what I was told. When's the next visit? Next visit is July, and I got a whole bunch of stuff planned for content.
Yeah, my content's gonna be fire from Nairobi. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
can't, yo, I can't wait to see how you act out there, and I want to see. You've been asking how the women are. I'm going to be curious on your opinion.
Right, because a lot of people, you see my chat, you see it's 150, 200 people in my live. So
They
it's
won't be
like
satisfied. I know it.
they will be, you know what it is? They're so sleep because there's nobody that's shown them. Like, I'm like the only, like, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to put, after if it's done right, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to put Nairobi on their actual schedule once they see the content that I'm going to drop. But if it's not hot, if it's not a hitter,
Don't
it's
break
not a
up.
hitter. But if it's nigga, if they got them Johns and it's lit and they, you know what I'm
Let's see.
saying? Like they're gonna be they're sleep on Nairobi right now. I ain't even gonna lie to you,
They
right?
are. I hope they stay sleeping, and leave it to like. I feel weird about doing content because I love the place so much. I don't want these jokers to mess it up.
So you're gatekeeping, basically.
I kind of want to gatekeep. I don't want to gatekeep a little bit.
You say it's that fire, you don't want nobody to know
For
how good
me,
it
like
is.
I don't like to speak for other people. I can only speak to my experience. So for me, it's it's just the best. But I have different intentions. So, you know, I'm not just there to have a good, party.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's the great thing about it. It's got the party shit, it's got the kickback if you want to be an old man type shit. Like it's got everything. I feel like it's got everything you could really want from what everybody's been telling me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm expecting Nairobi to be. I mean, because Thailand's my number one right now. If it beats out Thailand, I'm gonna really like love it there. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh my mom. So
Yeah, well, I don't know. Thailand's been on my list of places to visit, but just as like a vacation thing. Just like when I go to Mexico, I don't ever feel like, dang, I should stay here. Jamaica a little bit. Like I looked at Jamaica real estate, but what are the latest projects with good development? Let me answer some of these people because Ferdy's asking really good questions real quick. Ferdy said, "Are there any current real estate projects you're particularly excited about? Top three, maybe, and what makes them stand out to you?" The Diplomat is number one. It's across from Westgate. It's Wonder Properties. I've dealt with them before. I looked at all the past projects. Really like it. Plus, it's called the Diplomat because it's specifically positioned on the Peponi Road, which is close to on the road where you go to the UN and all that stuff, and they're trying to cater to that audience. And so the amenities that they're offering, I think, is good, and the location being next to Westgate is really, really, really good. And I trust that developer. And again, this is just I've dealt with them one time. Okay, so there's that. And then basically, if you're looking for investment, I think you should only buy at Westlands. If you are looking to live and stay, I think you get more value in Kilauea is probably the best. But Kilimani, Kilauea, and Lavington are very interchangeable. Lavington's probably the slowest. Kilauea, because of Olatoktok Road, is really close to like getting to Westlands and usually has a little bit less traffic. It's a really good spot to look at. But a lot of people ask about Emerald, which is on, is that Westlands Road? It's, and then Marble West. All those developers down there are pretty good. So I don't think you could go wrong with any of those. So I like all those projects. When I go back, I need to look at the Haas Consult developer. They have a lot of billboards and stuff. They don't work with real estate agents. So Dennis was setting up a lot of this stuff, but because they don't pay commission to real estate agents, I have to do it independently. So that's part of the plan as well. Let me see what else they got in here real quick. I like your idea on escrow. Typically, you can use a seller's lawyer in Kenya as an escrow. The best way is to work with a law firm experienced with property conveyance. It's funny because I know people that are using attorneys to do the transaction, and there was no suggestion from their attorney to do some kind of escrow. I don't know what's going on with that. Again, when I get boots on the ground, this is one of the things I'm going to investigate is wiring money for these developments, because it's a crazy thing. But you would think the attorney would do it because that's how they would do it in the U.S., right? So that's a good point. Jalabi, I don't even try to read names because I can't read names. Hi, Ryan. I tried to find out more info on your RD Investments Kenya Fund on Edgar Gov, but came up blank. Where can I go for? Oh, this is a deep cut. Where'd you even find this out? I've been playing around with the idea of doing a real estate investment fund in Kenya, basically buying off-plan apartments. The problem is because the fund raise that we'd likely be able to get initially, I wanted to hire an independent accounting firm to manage the money and escrows and stuff like that for transparency and reporting. And the cost of hiring these companies is a lot. And then I'm a little uneasy about managing other people's money without the proper transparency. So I've been kind of working through that. This idea is really to provide an opportunity for people that don't have the total amount of money or a big sum of money to be able to invest in Kenya. But I'm being really cautious about how I'm moving forward with that, because I don't want to be Jay Morrison out here. And if you guys don't know Jay Morrison,
Not
then
the Tulsa, the
yes,
Tulsa
that
fund.
guy, because it's the fund would be structured in a similar way, and I'm a little worried about that. The
You
structure,
finessing. You gonna finesse your investors,
yeah,
basically.
I don't want, but I don't even want the accusation. And if people aren't sophisticated in finances, real estate, blah, 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 they could, even if you're doing things correctly, they could feel like you're not. And I don't even want that. Again, name and reputation is important. That's why my YouTube channel is just my name. If you look up my name, you can see my real estate stuff. You can see everything. So I don't want to mess my name up by a lack of transparency or anything like that. So I'm working on the back end on working on that. But that's crazy that you know about that. I have no idea how you even like pick that up from YouTube, because
Yeah, somebody did a whole. This guy named Spencer Cornelius did a whole video on.
yes,
on
Jay
him and
Morrison.
how much of it was a scam. It was a good video. I ain't gonna lie. He scammed his people for like millions or something. Or not scam, but like they say he mismanaged the
No,
money.
he scammed them because he paid himself. So he had a marketing company. And so he got the money into the fund and then paid his marketing company to market. And he never really bought any property other than the Black House building that he was using for his own purposes. So
Right.
he never invested in any money. He just spent it in his marketing company, which is technically legal, I guess, because he's not in jail yet. Because I looked at the financial documents, all the expenses went to marketing, which he was the marketing company. So he just siphoned the money from the fund into his own company. Crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay. All right, Ryan. I didn't want to take too much of your time. I know you got to get back to your life. I just wanted to
Yeah,
slide on, say what's up to
appreciate
you,
it.
man, and keep doing your thing. I got to make a couple runs, and I'm subscribed to your channel, so I'll catch you when you pop up on the feed and stuff. Okay, Ryan.
I appreciate it. And check out Scott Ensley on YouTube. Super fun content. And
Yeah.
I appreciate you for having me on your platform.
All right, Ryan. Be safe.
Thanks, bro. Take care. All right. All right. Again, thank you to the Plaid Unicorn for joining the membership. It really means a lot to me, guys. Like, I got to tell you, I tell people when I consult, I didn't expect any of this stuff to happen. But it makes sense for me to do this because I'm so passionate about it and I'm so interested in everything. It's fun for me. So to be able to do this and to see the reaction and the benefit um, that other people are getting. And I would love to see if you guys are buying or just visiting or whatever you're doing. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as the impact is there, it's really encouraging. So I appreciate you guys on that. I want to get to this. Plausible things, F-150 Raptor. That's why I got it, because he's saying I proposed something crazy, do a drive from Nairobi to Cape Town, South Africa. Yeah, see, you need a truck because the roads ain't that good. And yeah, these are the type of things when I get settled in and chill out with this crazy schedule, I would like to do, because that sounds dope. That's a cool idea. I like that. Bonky Poo. Say, man, one more year of grinding and I'll be in Nairobi, or at least have a property there. Yeah, it's a lot of people go. I notice in this travel space, people be going to places and they don't have the funds to sustain the lifestyle. I follow this Thailand walking channel where they just talk about these guys spending all their money in Thailand and then coming back and being broke. I think you have to be really careful. You need to do this in a sustainable way if you're looking to like really relocate other than to visit. But I'd recommend visiting first, for sure. When's the next visit? Yeah, we talked about that. July, the Maasai people. Looking forward to the videos, dude. I never had pressure to make videos because people didn't watch them, but now people have been watching them. Now I'm like, now when I'm editing, I'm like, oh, what's important? Should I keep this in? It's a little nerve wracking. So I appreciate the feedback, and I really appreciate that you guys have been getting value out of them and also enjoying them. I'm going to try to improve them. So I'm always appreciative of feedback on what you'd like to see, how, tell me, give me real feedback on like, oh, that part was boring. Oh, I wish I would have seen this. Why didn't you ask that? Also, I think Kai, the guy I was with in many of the videos, I think he's super helpful because he asks a lot of questions and has a lot of energy as well. I'm more laid back, like, oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. George, Derek, what are the latest project with some good developers? Diplomat. And then the other one that, so I'm buying see, I don't even know if I want to tell people where I'm at, but no, I don't want to. Sorry. Gemini is one that I would have definitely purchased if it was completing sooner, but I'm so anxious because I wanted to stay at this purchase was one for me to utilize for myself. I don't I don't do that rent out your own space and then lock one room and all that stuff. I just want to have my own space. I'm not going to rent it out. And therefore, um, uh, Dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I don't want to rent out the space. So I wanted to get Gemini, but this other project in Kilimani is completing sooner. And I wanted to get a 2-bedroom so I can have friends, family, and stuff like that, plus room for expandability. But Gemini, if there's, I don't know if they have high floors or anything available. It completes in 2027. I really like that development. It's in Westlands, but it's kind of like not in the main part of Westland, so it's a little bit more chill. If you're into that, I don't think it's as good as an investment as Diplomat or Emerald. Emerald's quality looks very good. Marble, I would buy Emerald before I buy Emerald West, but the developer that did Emerald West, I like their projects that I saw in Kilimani. I like their quality as well. Bonky Poo. The real estate is so attractive there. I need to get in before people run it up. That's what I'm getting worried about. That's why it's time to make a decision on if I'm going to spend more time out there and really like turn up on the investment and the content side, because Earn Your Leisure popped up out there. I'm like, yo, what's these guys out here? They blowing up the spot. I kind of, it's weird because I'm doing content there, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I just want to gatekeep a little bit, like Rella was saying. The Plaid Unicorn is the Diplomat within walking distance to Westgate. Is Sarit Center close? So Sarit and Westgate are super close to each other. It's like 2 malls. Westgate's not as big though. The Diplomat literally is across the street from Westgate, but still walking distance from Sarit. But the Diplomat literally diagonal from Westgate on Poponi Road is the Diplomat. And again, I like that developer. I like their quality, and I think they really are trying to elevate the quality of this next development at the Diplomat. So I really like it. There's a new development called Pandora. Oh, dude, Pandora looks crazy. I saw that, because they have like a gala to announce it and everything. I saw some clips from that. There's going to be a shopping mall in Pandora. Like they're real crazy. Like they're doing some like Dubai type crazy self-contained thing over there. The entry price is high, but again, that's probably something. I don't know if you could probably Airbnb it, but it's probably better as a individual like property. Also, the battery in this camera is going to die. I'll switch it out as it dies, and I have a meeting coming up in 15 minutes where I'm having mad fun with you guys. It's really cool when you get interaction, because I could do this all day and talk to you guys, and yeah, it's dope. George, Derek, what's the name of the developers and how can I see what projects are going on? If you go into my other videos, I would recommend talking to Dennis. He could send you information on all the projects. If you give him like a criteria, I think he's in a class for like a couple months, so his response rate might be a little bit slower than normal. But if you connect with Dennis or a reputable real estate agent in Kenya, they should be able to direct you to what developments are available. This is a big difference in real estate in Kenya versus the US, is that there's no Zillow or there's no multiple listing service. So there is like Buy Rent Kenya and different websites, but there is no integrated service that has everything. So the knowledge and the access that your real estate agent has is really important. Is it mandatory to have a KRA PIN when purchasing property in Nairobi, and can a non-Kenyan citizen obtain one? Yes, it's mandatory when you purchase, and you can get one. I have a KRA PIN. This is why, again, you need your own independent buyer's agent, because, for example, Dennis got me the KRA PIN. It was 10,000 shillings, which now I realize if you go on the KRA website, it's actually pretty user-friendly. KRA is like the IRS of Kenya. So the KRA PIN is like, and this is a deep cut. This is like member stuff again, but the KRA PIN is like an EIN number or like your social for tax purposes. And actually, and again, this is where information's hazy. I'm going to get better information. I'm going to talk to the professionals about this. From my understanding, as a non-citizen, your tax burden, if all you have as a property, is 7.5% of the gross rental income. You're supposed to pay it monthly. Oh, my meeting phone call is coming up. I'm going to have to get out of here. But let me clean up these final comments, guys. I'm going to be back on after my meeting, probably about an hour or 2 hours, depending on how long it goes, talking about this business here, the real estate brokerage. Dang, just calling right now. But yeah, 7.5% of the gross rental income goes to the KRA, and you can actually pay it online. Like I have the portal all set up, my login, everything, super user friendly. It's better than the U.S. government trying to deal with their tax situation. So I really like that. Again, we'll talk to the tax people and get better information. Um, the Plaid Unicorn, I will be there in a few weeks looking at a few places. I will keep in touch, no doubt. Yeah, for sure. Let me know, especially now you join the membership. Hit me up. Let me know anything I could do to help. Um, just whatever questions you might have, if you just want to bounce ideas or hear my opinion about something. Again, I don't like to say I am an expert. I've only purchased one property, but I will share everything that I have learned and think and give you my opinion. I do have 15 years of real estate experience on the investment and sales side. But I'm new to Kenya, relatively. But I've just gone through this process, getting the KRA pin, getting a bank account, setting up to pay on KRA, the property management. I'm working through all that stuff. Jalabi 99. That makes sense. If all the limited partners for a fund to invest in Kenya real estate are from the US, that's a different legal structure than if the LPs are based in Kenya. These are the dynamics that are challenging because the way the structure would have to be, from my understanding, and what I'm looking to do is we have a LLC that the members have class A or B shares in, and then that company will own a Kenyan company that is required to have a 10% local ownership. Again, I got to figure out what that means exactly. Do they have voting rights, whatever? So the US company owns the Kenyan company, that you have to form both. And so the Kenyan company would be paying the US company. And there's tax stuff that we still got to figure out. And then I got to get the reporting and auditing all together. So to do a fund like that, very complicated, a little above my pay grade without hiring the right people to do it. But do we have the money to hire them? Because I'm getting quotes for like 20K, 10K retainers to set everything up. So it depends how much money we'd be able to raise. And then do I really want to be responsible for all of that? And especially as my first time, even if I don't want to mess my name up. George Derek, are you able to provide a list of these developers? You know, you guys are going to make me end up being like an agent in Kenya, because I probably could get all this information and be able to distribute it to people and then set up showings and all that stuff. I probably could do that if I was on ground more. Can I get a list? Can I get you a list? Yeah, I can. If you send me what you're looking for, then I can send you what fits your criteria that the people that I know, my network knows that's available, which is quite a bit. I've seen two black dudes out in New York, Earn Your Leisure, that they were teachers before, but now they're building a city over there in Ghana. They be buddy with Khalees over there. Yo, what's up with Khalees? Khalees, I'm gonna have to catch up with the land thing, but I want to know how she's being able to buy it, because it's leasehold, freehold. Has she got citizenship? What's going on with that? Super excited to look more into that. I don't know about that whole building a city. They're working with the government. This whole like private city thing, because there's Tattoo City in Kenya near Riru, that I've been to, that I actually didn't release the video. It's like the private company bought basically a whole coffee farm. It's like 150 acres. It's like really big. And it's like super hyped, but what's wrong with Nairobi? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's really idealistic. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Have you thought about buying a house to get away from the city? Yes. So that's why the Riru stuff, I was really considering those properties, those townhouses in those videos that I showed, and we're going to do more of that. Yes, but as like, I like to be out at the restaurants. I like to be around things. I'm not super confident of my ability to manage the house being further away because now you have less access to stuff. You definitely need a car. The lifestyle's a lot different. I don't mind the city atmosphere, but yes, I want a country house. Yes, the location's really important to me. So I've been, if you guys notice the videos I've been doing, I've been starting to go to the suburbs and learn more about the suburban areas that are around the city. Most Kenyans probably prefer the suburbs outside of Nairobi. So I want to find the perfect place, the place that I really like. And that's the other thing, the prices like Runda, Muthaiga, Karen, the prices are crazy. Like it'd be like 30, 40 million shillings for an acre. So that's crazy. Guys, I'm going to have to get out of here soon. I'm doing PP Bob's last comment, and then I got to go. I'll be back on in about an hour and a half. But I super appreciate everybody. Again, check out the membership. Really love the support. Anyway, just us, the Skyscraper City Forum, to check out development projects. It gets a little political on certain government-related projects, subforums, but it's a great place. I've heard of that place, but I haven't really been in there like that. I try to deal with all the locals. I don't know if this Skyscraper City Forum is like locals, but I'm trying to integrate into the society as much as possible. PP Bob, the city over there in Ghana is Sambra City, and for Khalees, she posted that her land is 300 acres in Kenya, and she has also vested on land and farming in Rwanda. The commenters are basically asking you to build an app with vetted professionals, real estate land sellers. These are all opportunities, guys. But I got to have my feet on the ground. You got to build the relationships, the tech on the app, all that stuff. Like there's a bunch of ideas in the background that are, because basically I'm just trying to solve problems that I'm facing. And I think that would provide the most value to everyone else. Cause yeah, it's annoying having to ask and then wait to get the developers and, all that. It's a lot slower. So there's things being worked on. I think people jump out the window and try to start a business. And in my 20s, I would do that, but I'm getting older. I realize how hard running a business really is. And now a foreign business, different legal structures, all things can go wrong. And so I take my time, and do things the right way is really important, regardless of what you do. But I appreciate that. Dang, that's crazy. We had like 20 people in here. Shout out to Rello. Check out his YouTube, Scott Ensley. He's more on the fun side. I'm kind of on the business. My members only, I'll keep it more real. I don't know if you can know. I'm talking to him different than how I talk to you guys. But I try, I keep it classy, keep it professional on the main YouTube. In the members only, when we start really getting that rolling, I'll keep it more real with some of that stuff because whatever. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. The Plaid Unicorn, first member, super appreciate it. Everybody that's asking questions, it makes doing this a lot easier, and I could talk about this stuff all day. I love it so much. So please keep asking your questions, and I'll be back on in a little bit. I've missed the meeting. She called me. I got to call her back and apologize. But see you guys.